Hi there everyone, welcome to our young Sheng presentation. We'll look at the Chinese medicine dietetics of a recipe and how it's used in relation to a case. The case that we're looking at today is where a friend of ours is worried about their hair. Both their parents had grey hair really young and they were afraid of having the same problem. What should they do? So as we can guess and as we know from our previous study, at conception, the union of the parent's kidney Jing, being the sperm and the ova, form the prenatal Jing of each person. The person's constitution will depend on the strength and quality of the inherited essence. That is, if the parent's Jing is weak, the child's kidney essence will also be weak. Thus, in children, kidney Jing deficiency pattern may be caused by a hereditary weakness of kidney Jing. Kidney Jing dominates the growth of head hair, and hence a lack thereof will result in the premature greying of hair. Therefore, the patient in this case may be predisposed to the pattern of kidney Jing deficiency due to their hereditary susceptibility. Given this, the treatment principle would be to nourish the Jing and tonify the kidneys. The recipe that we have chosen to have this desired outcome is a black sesame soup. Now, for this dish, we're going to need a few ingredients. The first is 1 cup of rice soaked overnight. It's good to note that soaking grains, nuts and seeds is essential for nutrient absorption. 1 cup black sesame seeds, also soaked overnight. 7 cups of water, and 3/4 to 1 cup of unrefined sugar. A nice additional option that you can add which also adds some therapeutic benefits, are walnuts, which we'll see on the next couple slides. Now, in terms of our cooking methodology, first you're going to drain the rice. You're going to add this to the blender and blend thoroughly with 3 cups of water. Remove it from the blender and then set aside. Next, we're going to drain the sesame seeds. Then we're going to toast them in a frying pan on low to medium heat for about 1 to 2 minutes or until fragrant. Add the seeds to the blender with 3/4 of a cup water and blend thoroughly. Next, we're going to add the rice mixture back into the blender along with the walnuts and mix. Transferring the mixture into a pot, combine this with sugar and the rest of the water, which should be about 3 1/4 cups. Bring all of this to a boil, then simmer on low until thickened, roughly about 5 to 8 minutes. Throughout this time, stir frequently to prevent sediment from sticking to the bottom of the pot and burning. Add more boiling water to adjust for thickness if desired. Now let's analyze this recipe and its ingredients and how they come together to achieve the treatment principle of nourishing the Jing and tonifying the kidneys. First, we'll look at the cooking methods, and in this recipe there are 2 main methods. The first is toasting, which supplies foods, in this case black sesame seeds, with yang energy. This method is fine to use in this case as there are no internal heat symptoms. Obviously, if our client was suffering internal heat, toasting would probably be not the most appropriate method. Next, we have boiling, which has a warming effect and is determined by the cooking time and temperature. So for example, a brief boil adds a little yang energy, whereas a longer boil obviously adds more yang energy to the ingredients and the dish as a whole. Now, the therapeutic relationships of the ingredients, the ingredient properties, and the synergies in this recipe. In the nutritional therapy books that we've read, all these ingredients, that is the black sesame seeds, the rice and walnuts, as well as the unrefined sugar, are recommended to nourish kidney Jing and tonify the kidneys. Black sesame is sweet and goes to the liver and kidneys to supplement and moisten dryness and to restore hair colour, especially in this case for premature greying. The white rice, which is sweet and neutral, strengthens the qi and blood of the stomach and spleen and therefore helps to produce postnatal Jing. The unrefined sugar is sweet and warm. It supplements the middle jiao and strengthens also the function of the spleen and stomach. The walnuts in this case are warming and they can tonify the kidneys. Overall, you can see that this recipe is very good for tonifying not only the kidneys but also supporting the production of postnatal Jing. Thanks for watching our presentation and bon appetit!